Welcome to the grand finale of the 2024 Hunt League Outdoorsman of the Year. Our biggest event, the highest honor that can be awarded inside the hunting community. We celebrate not just the skills of elite hunters, but the spirit, dedication, and passion that inspires our community and paves the way for others to follow. This award isn't just about trophies on the wall or miles covered in the backcountry. It's about leadership, perseverance, and a deep respect for wild animals and the places they call home. It's about hunters who go beyond the pursuit of game, embodying mentorship, conservation, and an unrelenting pursuit of excellence in the field. Over the past year, we have witnessed extraordinary dedication and grit from hunters across the country as they have logged and shared their stories inside the Hunt League mobile app. But three individuals have risen to the top, earning their place as finalists for this prestigious title of becoming the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year. Let's meet these finalists. We have Brandon Anderson from Oregon. He finished on top of the Hunt League leaderboard for 2024. He logged over 89 days in the field, hunting, scouting, and mentoring others. Highlights for him include finally drawing an Oregon pronghorn tag after 19 years of applying, as well as helping his wife harvest her best blacktail buck to date. Brandon ranked 13th overall for community involvement inside the Hunt League app and second amongst this year's finalists when it came to checking the daily challenge shoot box 184 days during the 2024 season. His work and commitment with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation helped raise hundreds of thousands of dollars at banquets throughout the state of Oregon. Finalist number 2, Joshua Katanik from Idaho. He finished 7th overall on the Hunt League leaderboard in 2024 and is a returning finalist from the 2023 season. Josh drew a once-in-a-lifetime Idaho moose tag and was able to successfully fill that tag, but he will share that the true highlight of 2024 came during his spring bear season where he overcame multiple obstacles before finding success. Josh finished 14th as far as community involvement inside the Hunt League app, and he finished first amongst the finalists in logging physical training days. He's a beast. Josh is a loving husband and a father, as well as a volunteer firefighter in his community. That brings us to our third finalist, Rich Mays from California. He finished second overall on the Hunt League leaderboard for the 2024 season. Rich won the lottery by drawing a coveted Arizona archery elk tag and was able to harvest his first elk, bull, cow of any kind after several failed attempts in other states. Rich led the entire Hunt League community by checking the shoot box 219 days and totaling 671 daily challenge boxes checked during the 2024 season. Rich is also well known inside the Hunt League community for his culinary skills and utilizing every part of the animal. He finished the year 6th overall for community points, and he is actively involved in the RMEF and NWTF there at his local chapters in San Diego. Now, each of these finalists has proven that they are not just great hunters, but they're great stewards of the sport, leaders who inspire others. We are just beginning to scratch the surface of all the hard work, dedication, and passion that these finalists bring to the table. So how does somebody win this prestigious award? Well, let me introduce you to our judges. Before we reveal who will be crowned the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year, let's take a moment to recognize the esteemed panel of judges who have the impossible task of selecting one winner out of this batch of finalists. I will let the judges introduce themselves here in just a moment, but before we do that, let me take just a moment to share how our judges are selected and what they represent. Hunt League is blessed to be partnered with some of the absolute best people and companies in the outdoor industry. We have several leagues throughout the year, such as our Spring Turkey, an Apex Predator, Western Hunter, Sweet September, it's an Archery Elk League. We have a Wild Food League and others. When it comes to the Outdoorsman of the Year, we have partnered with companies that represent the absolute best of the best in their class, as well as in their service to hunters. Companies like Vortex Optics, which makes incredible products for hunters, but they also stand behind them with the industry's best unlimited lifetime warranty. We see the same commitment and craftsmanship from Seekins Precision as they offer a shooter satisfaction guarantee and they stand behind their rifles for life. You will quickly find that this same underlying ethos with top quality products and customer service with all of the brands found inside the Outdoorsman of the Year League, whether that be from Vortex, Seekins, Huxworks, Mountain Tough, Coast, and others. I would encourage you to go check inside the HuntLeague app to see the different companies and partners and products that we have partnered with inside our leagues. From iconic companies like Remington to innovative companies like Burris Optics and Hogue Hunting to emerging companies such as Arkin Optics, Graxaw, Canebrake Call Company, and many others. With that said, it is the work logged throughout the year inside the HuntLeague app that elevates hunters on our leaderboard. This is not a hunting contest related to the size or the number of animals harvested. Our leagues are story-based where we want to see all the work that goes into a season filled with the ups and downs, the days where you don't see anything, the days where you see everything. So everyone that arrives at the finals, they all have a story to tell. And this is where we invite some of our league partners to jump in and participate on a live judges panel. Our league winners are not randomly selected like your typical social media giveaway. We have industry professionals listen to each of their individual stories and ultimately select one winner that they believe represents what it means to be the Outdoorsman of the Year and to wear that crown. They're looking for a great ambassador for hunters everywhere. So let me introduce you to the 2024 judges that will ultimately select this year's winner.
Yeah, guys. So I'm Porter. Live here in Utah. I lived here my whole life. I got myself into hunting in 2015. My dad really he kind of grew out of it, never wanted to take me. And then I hit about 20, I believe I was about 25. And I was like, you know what? it's time. So I taught myself, started bow hunting, but just killed my first whitetail last year in Texas. Going pig hunting on Wednesday in Houston. So trying to get out a little bit more and broadening out of the Rockies. So Hux, we've been around in the industry for we're going on 15 years. Our whole thing's flow through technology and how that helps the shooter, both on the professional side, the hunter, and your average shooter. What we're giving away for this to the winner, our Venom 762. Fully hub compatible, 3D printed core in here. And then for our other two contestants, we have our Blasphemy. This one's nice, just redirecting that blast, especially if you're running a break out of the sides. It's going to push that down range. Makes it for a much more pleasurable experience for the shooter.
Yeah, shooter, and if you're a camera person sitting beside that rifle, it's way
Yes,
better because it doesn't just blow your eardrums out. So it's not a
absolutely.
suppressor, it's not a silencer, but it is kind of a blast deflector, pushes everything forward instead of just blowing your ears out if you're sitting beside it.
Exactly. Yep.
So you guys have knocked it out of the park, and I mean, that's why you're here sitting at the table with the Outdoorsman of the Year. Everybody that's in this Outdoorsman of the Year league represents what we believe to be the absolute best of the best in the industry, which leads me to judge number 2. So let's welcome Danny Nelson from Seekins Precision. Danny, excited for you to be joining us.
Excited to be here. Thanks. Yeah, so I'm Danny Nelson. I'm the director of sales at Seekins Precision. Actually, a lot like Porter, I just started hunting 11 years ago. Grew up in the woods. My dad was a mountain biker, hiker, one of those guys, but never a hunter, fisher. Not that he was opposed to it, he just never did it. So um, didn't really get into hunting until like 11 years ago, but have been shooting my whole life, which is super fun. Me and my older brother, Matty, who works here at Seekins Precision. Do a lot of shooting. So yes, definitely rifleman, but have gone full tilt into the hunting world over the last 11 years. So um, love to rifle hunt, but actually, interestingly enough, as a rifle manufacturing company, I prefer to bow hunt. I love bow hunting. It's my absolute drug. If I could hardline it straight to my veins, I would. Um, it's a great time to get out in the woods with either family or friends. I have a bunch of young sons that are all into hunting, and that's all they want to do is go out with dad in the woods and hopefully see him shoot something, which is always the goal. But anyway, so I love hunting. I love being a part of the hunting community. I love what hunting does for conservation. I love what hunting
Yeah.
does to preserve that memory making machine for fathers and sons and fathers and daughters and family members. Hunting is what is going to keep, the woods for our future generations, which is good. So, Seekins Precision, like you said, for 21 years now, we've been in business and focused primarily on unrivaled innovation, trying to change everything we can about what's being done commonly. And Glenn Seekins is truly a master of that. And he's the founder and owner of the company. He can see something and look at it and pick it apart and decide, hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to fix this, I want to fix that, and within the confines of his skull, give birth to something truly magnificent. And then he's surrounded himself with the right people and machines and everything else to actually, create what he sees in his brain. And so we always give credit to his vision and what he's able to do. But like you said, we reinvented our existing rifle lineup, tip to tail, just about everything there is.
Yeah.
The winner of the competition today ends up with his choice between a PH3, which is our, I call it the do-it-all rifle. It's at the best price point for the market as far as what's available. But it has every feature you could possibly imagine, and many that you probably wouldn't, like quick change barrels, integrated M-lock, phenomenal options for caliber changes and things. Just really trying to make every box checked for every hunter as far as what they'd want out of a rifle. And then the other option he gets to pick from is the ultimate backpacking rig. It's called the Element Hunter. It's our element barreled action that we dropped into a 30-ounce chassis that we designed. And what sets us apart is we manufacture every part of those rifles tip to tail under our own roof, except for the trigger and the rubber.
I got to touch those rifles for the first time at Western Hunt Expo. I mean, I saw the release of them with some of the pre-videos. Absolutely couldn't believe it. I already was, already had like, all right, Seekins, as far as like a production rifle, you just can't rival the quality, the specs. I mean, I've got guys that are shooting that saying, look, I'm putting 3 to 5 inch groups out at 1,000 yards consistently with these out of the box rifles with factory ammunition. It's like, there's nothing else that touches it. And then you even jump into your gas gun world, the SB10s. Like, there's nothing out there that I think touches that from a production standpoint. So you guys have already been kind of that market leader. And if I had any little gripe about the PH2s or previous generation stuff, it'd be like, man, I would love a 60 degree instead of a 90 degree, but I know you guys were running everything off kind of more or less the Remington 700 footprint, even though you had modified it and kind of made it your own. The fact that you guys took it and rebuilt this rifle from the ground up and truly made it your own. I mean, it is a Seekins action now. The flat bottom thing that you guys did to where it marries with the stock and the bottom metal. I mean, everything that you guys did, you did right. And it's like, I don't even have a suggestion that I would offer at this point with how well designed you guys came out with the whole M3 action and that lineup. So huge congratulations. Seekins is still king. I'm going to keep saying it and shouting it from the rooftop. And that's why you guys deserve your spot here in this Outdoorsman of the Year. All right. So you've met Porter. We've met Danny. Got to introduce you to Weston Paul. Weston from Mountain Tough. Weston, go ahead and give us a quick intro, and then we're going to jump into this first interview.
Thanks for letting me join too. Excited for this opportunity today and excited to pick the winner. But thanks to everybody for participating. I work for Mountain Tough Fitness, for a fitness app, primarily training the backcountry hunter or the aspiring backcountry hunter. But we got fitness programs for everybody, you name it, from body weight programs to minimal gear to full gym programs, just trying to meet people where they're at, because fitness definitely is something needs to spark in your life for you to pick it up and gravitate towards it and get on that path. And so we have programs for everybody. Certainly having a hunt on the books is a great way to motivate a person to train. And so we're there meeting people, like I said, where they're at. And we're excited to give away to the winner a lifetime subscription to Mountain Tough so you can stay fit for a lifetime. And then second and third place will get annual subscriptions to Mountain Tough as well. So I'm a longtime hunter. Also resonate with you guys as well too, as I got a couple boys, and this year my oldest boy shot his first bull and my youngest boy shot his first deer. And so that's pretty awesome to be, they've been tagging along with me for forever. And to see them both do that, I'm like, it doesn't get any better. So, yeah, no, it's really, really special. I was like, literally they topped off the freezer this year, and that goes down in my books for sure.
Weston, you and I got to train together for a day there at the Mountain Tough Lab last year in Bozeman, right as I was heading up to do a bear hunt with Arkin Optics. Did a brutal workout. I brought a buddy that used to be like a former U student here in Colorado with me. He spent a little bit of time throwing up outside your back window midway through that workout. We're so honored to be partnering with you guys. Love having you guys in this Outdoorsman of the Year. You do train the best of the best, not just in the hunting space, but in the first responder, military, all that. So really grateful to have you. I'm excited for you to get to meet our first finalist here in just a second, because Josh, he's a volunteer firefighter, avid hunter. I want to say last year, yeah, he checked the most train days. So he checked 150 days training on the year. My goal every year has been 200. I've hit that 4 years in a row now. Josh checked at 150, but he'll also say he knows he did more than that 150. It's just how many times you remember to open the app, check the box. But without further ado, let's dive into this panel. I want to introduce you guys to Joshua Katanik from Idaho. There is the man himself wearing his Seekins Precision shirt, just representing Seekins right out of the gates. Tell us what it means to you today to be here as a finalist for the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year.
It's an absolute honor, guys. I mean, I just had a stellar season as far as 2024 goes with the birth of my child. That once in a lifetime moose tag, God blessing me for that spring bear. It's just this opportunity that Jared provides us with through the HuntLeague app is just icing on the cake for sure. And I'm just so grateful.
So we're going to give you 12 minutes on the clock. I'm going to turn it over to these guys and just let them get rolling. Any final questions before we throw you to the lions?
Nope, let's do it.
All right, judges, here we go.
Josh, nice to meet you. Thanks for getting thrown to the lions here. I'm Weston. I'm with Mountain Tough. How do you define success in the mountains?
Perseverance. There would be no successful my hunting seasons without perseverance, whether that's just putting in those days when you can during the week or planning that hunt, months, years in advance, whatever it takes, but just getting those days in the field. That's the only way that I'm able to be successful and never really giving up. Life throws a lot of challenges at us, but what I'm able to show myself and what my buddies are able to show me time and time again, that it's really just days in the field and perseverance.
Hey, Josh, if you had to name a piece of gear that you won't go in the woods with or that helped you the most this year, what would it be?
Well, it'd probably be a suppressor, to be honest with you. I know that kind of sounds a little weighted with you being from Huxworks, but I don't have a Huxworks suppressor yet. I have a couple other different brands. But being able to communicate with your hunting partner and not having to, tell your buddy to plug his ears or whatnot, or being able to take that shot in the heat of the moment when the opportunity, same thing with the whole perseverance thing. Like, you plan this hunt, you get a limited amount of time, you go into the woods, and next thing you know, that lifetime animal is hopping up in front of you at 30 yards and you've got a second to make that shot opportunity happen. It is absolute something that's with me on every hunt, at least for modern firearm, obviously.
So Josh, kudos on the shirt, by the way. Way to just start out sharp. I like that. Anyway, so the thing about hunting is we obviously love sharing our success stories. We obviously love seeing all the success that people have. Entire TV shows are predicated around the success of individuals. Even the app and this entire deal that you're a part of here is predicated around the successful stories we hear. But no one really ever focuses on or talks about the failures that we experience. And you just mentioned that you just had a son. Yeah.
Baby girl.
My question, baby girl. Oh, okay. Well, she's probably going to grow up a killer too, I'm sure. My question is, how are you going to help your offspring as they come up deal with failure in the woods? This is kind of like the antithesis to Weston's question.
Well, my mentality throughout life has kind of been there is no such thing as failure. It's all learning opportunity, which goes hand in hand with perseverance and faith in God. Whenever I come across those so-called failures, it really is just an opportunity and a reminder for me to like push through and see that success at the end. It doesn't even mean that I'm going to get it that season. I had many seasons leading up to the last 5 years that where I wasn't harvesting anything. It was all just learning opportunities. But since 2019 to now, I've had seasons like I would have never imagined, and I can't help but bring that back to just taking failure as an education. And that's something both my wife and I see eye to eye on, and we plan to invest with our children in and educate them on. So
I know that you check the box for training. So elaborate on how you felt physically in the mountains this year.
Well, fortunately, between firefighting, hiking around in the woods, I mean, we've got two retrievers that just love getting out. We've got the mountains in our backyard, essentially. My garage, we've turned into a home gym where I have a squat rack, a pull-up bar, treadmill, bike, all that good stuff. Throughout the winter, I'm either rucking on the treadmill with a weighted pack or getting outside, hiking around in the snow with snowshoes or not, just trying to basically simulate what my hunting season is going to be like, but then as well as doing body weight workouts to strengthen my body and make me capable. Because I've been there in the past where I've been a little bit overweight, or even some might say quite a bit overweight. And I know that feeling of how difficult things can get when you don't keep up on top of your training. So throughout the year, throughout the off season, I'm doing pull-ups, push-ups, squats, the rucking, the hiking, all of that good stuff with that goal in mind of not only being able to hunt for myself, but also be able to bring others into the field and show them what physical fitness can do. I've taken a lot of friends out on their first hunts and basically exposed them to another level of hunting where they thought we were going to be truck hunting. And I opened their eyes to how much more animals we can find if we're willing to go beyond the truck, if we're willing to go beyond that next ridge. And my training throughout the year, my continued training kind of shows them the dedication that is needed to do it, but it is inspiring for them and myself.
What's more terrifying, hunting bear or having your first kid?
Oh, man.
No wrong answers. I'm just curious.
Probably be a little disappointing to you, but I haven't found either of them terrifying, to be honest.
No, that's a good answer. Okay.
I've loved every minute of it. Right now, we were up all night because she's just going through teething, and we woke up and she threw up in the middle of the night from having too much saliva or something, and ended up just covered in milk. And Mom and I are up there just changing her and dealing with it. But you encounter things like that. You encounter close encounters with bears. With black bears, I haven't really had that many close encounters, but I do have buddies that have been charged by sows with cubs that are part of or the black bear species. And in my experience, they've always just been more afraid of me, fortunately. But yeah, as of right now, I've just been loving every minute of it.
Wait till she's 13.
Yeah.
That answer will change. So my next question for you, Josh, is about HuntLeague itself. What's your biggest takeaway from this that you would share with, just a random guy you met at an expo, let's say like a hunting expo, right? Like, hey, I'm a part of this HuntLeague. What's your biggest takeaway from this whole experience?
HuntLeague is a culmination of conservationists. It's a hunting support group. It's a space where hunters of all levels of success, all levels of physical fitness, all of that can come together and inspire one another, promote one another, educate one another. I mean, you scroll through our social media portion of the HuntLeague app, and it's just full of plated dishes. It's full of outings with your family and friends. It's full of every type of hunting or fishing opportunity that you can think of. And those are all members within the community that would be happy to share their experience with you. You can reach out to them directly. And it's not like one of those closed forums where everybody tells you go and read 5 pages of the forums before you even think about posting, and don't ever ask for a spot to go hunting. It's not like that within the HuntLeague community. It's a true educational conservationist standing within the community, and I really respect and love that. And it's so easy to bring people into it.
With all the game that you've harvested, what's your favorite way to cook it?
Oh, we burger so much. I mean, obviously we don't burger a lot of the backstrap, but the backstrap trimmings or loin, I guess I'd get my butt paddled by my dad for calling it backstrap when it's actually loin. But tenderloin steaks, you can't go wrong. At elk camp on a successful harvest, the first thing that gets consumed is the heart. That's kind of like traditional. We did it. We're going to go back and eat good tonight. And it's always instant mashed potatoes, gravy, and the heart. But I would say that burger is the majority of the food source that we eat at home, whether that is just burgers or tacos or spaghetti. I am a once or twice a week spaghetti, tacos, some sort of variation kind of guy. I love it.
Awesome. That keeps you going, no doubt.
Oh, one more thing. Not enough people have tried canned meat. We can our cougar, bear, and that canned meat it tastes like roast beef. I can't say that enough. Like, it goes well as a roast beef substitute. Please, anybody who's curious about trying that, reach out to me. It is amazing.
Have you had an experience where things are getting tough and you wanted to quit, but then you didn't, and success came from that?
Yeah, that's exactly why my spring bear beat out my moose hunt this year. I'd been hunting for a couple days with a buddy. He decided to head home. I decided I'd drive out with him and grab a burger and then go back in and hunt. Well, when we got back to my truck started misfiring, and it went into limp mode. And I was like, well, this is kind of a sign. I do have a work rig back at the house. I might as well go out with you. We'll grab lunch, follow me back to my house. Let's drop off the truck. I'll take my work rig in. He comes back to the house with me. I switch rigs. We part ways. He heads back another 3 hours back to where he lives to go back to work. And I head back 2 hours back up to where we were hunting in my work rig. My work rig was a low clearance Ford Transit van. And I got to the trailhead and I backed the van up in the same spot my truck parked earlier. And that van had such low clearance that I high centered on that little ledge coming off the road, stranded my van, realized that I should probably get that unstuck before going hunting. Remembered that I saw loggers like 3 to 5 miles back the other direction, and it was midday at this point, and I knew they'd be going home soon. So in my rubber boots, I went running back, and I made it about 3 miles before this guy named Mike was coming up the road. I flagged him down. He picked me up. He took me back to my van, towed my van out, asked me what I was going to do next. And it was only like 2:30 in the afternoon by that time. I only had 5 miles to get back up onto the mountain ridge. So I told him I was going to go hunting. I hadn't really, in all of that chaos, checked what was going on in the mountains for weather. And I was going to be getting pretty high up there. So I should have. But I come prepared with like an inReach and whatnot. So I at least have that in my back pocket. And I start that hike up there, and it's mid-spring. I think it's around the end of May, maybe early June. And so there's still a bit of snow on the north facing slopes as you're getting up towards the mountain ridges, and not much for service in the thick of it in North Idaho. And I get up on the ridge and I look south and I see a winter storm rolling in, which we, for whatever reason, get up here when it comes to May. And right about that time, I get service on the inReach. My buddy Kyle's letting me know, hey, there's a winter storm rolling in. I hope you're able to hunker down. At that time, I realized that I only had like a jersey shirt, a puffy vest, and my rain shell. And I knew that I needed to keep some things dry and make it to tree cover. And I didn't make it to tree cover before the rain and snow came in, but I was sitting underneath a tree at that time, just completely soaked, taking my shirt off, changing into my vest and my rain jacket, and thinking like, okay, well, I guess I wasn't supposed to hunt today. I was praying to God the whole way up that this was going to be a successful hunt, that I was going to get through all of the the hardships with the vehicles and whatnot, and this is all going to be worth it. And as I'm sitting under that tree, just getting drenched, I had already kind of conceded like, okay, today's not the day, God. I wasn't supposed to hunt today. And no sooner did I finish like thinking that out and praying, and the skies opened up, the sun started to shine on the tree that I was hunkered under, and I popped out and the clouds were opening up, and I looked up at the sky and was like, okay, I am supposed to hunt today. Thank you. And it was probably another 15, 20 minutes after that I had gone around the ridge. And as I went around the ridge, I looked down into an area that I had put an E-pin, or E-scouted a bear spot 10 days prior. And as I looked down there, there's a bear feeding out right there. And I was able to harvest that bear. I hung the meat like 30 yards from that pin that I had placed. So it was quite the blessing. And yeah, perseverance, guys, perseverance and faith.
All right, Josh, that is officially the time that we have with our judges. Now, just for clarity, you are wearing that Seekins shirt, but is that just like a faith statement, or are you actually a Seekins rifle owner? I mean, what's going on here? You just trying to impress Danny?
So I think I actually got this shirt a couple years back before you guys stopped letting people come and take a tour of the factory and pick up your rifle there. Maybe you still do the tours, but I was able to pick up the hit rifle when it came out. I was one of the earlier owners of a hit rifle. My wife, she owns a 6.5 PRC PH2. She grew up in a family where everybody shot a 300 Win Mag, and of course that's what they made her shoot, and she hated it. And then we found Seekins. She fell in love. I've never seen her shoot a rifle any better than that. And I fell in love with it too. We're a Seekins family. We have those two rifles. I'm hoping that we can get Sophia set up with one at some point down the road. My daughter, I can't recommend them enough. So
thanks for jumping in, sharing some of your story. I know the judges have your application. They also have some of the other statistics from the app. So you had an incredible year, my friend. Let's move on. I want to introduce you guys to Brandon Anderson. Brandon has been either at the top or right at the top of our leaderboard the last couple of years. This is his first time in the finals, though, as a finalist for the Outdoorsman of the Year. You put all the other guys to shame when it comes to just activities logged. You logged 89 days in the field, whether that be scouting, helping other people hunt, or hunting yourself. It's no wonder why you kind of ran away with the point total this year and ended up in that first place spot. Before you jump in, I mean, what does this mean to you being a finalist this year as a 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year?
Just cherry on top to a really good season, helping a lot of other people's, being a good conservationist, being a good community member, just being a good all-around outdoorsman, going out of your way to do more than just killing animals.
Kind of a phrase that I say often inside the HuntLeague community is kind of paving the way for others to follow. And I feel like you have done that as good, if not better, than anybody else inside our community. Just really laying a path for people to follow and saying like, look, we can point to you and say, look, if you follow the example that Brandon's doing from a conservation standpoint, the work that you're doing with Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, the amount of people that you're taking hunting, I don't know that other people can follow in your footsteps as far as the number of days you get to spend in the field, but I am excited to introduce you to the judges panel. I see you've got your Hucks hats on. I think Josh just came out of his with his Seekins t-shirt. So let's see what Rich does and see if he's got a Mountain Tough thing. I guess I've got the Mountain Tough hat. So we'll see what Rich does, see if he can compete with you guys. But 12 minutes on the clock, my friend. Best of luck with your interview.
First question. How do you define a successful hunt?
A successful hunt is, to me, is just about the whole entire adventure, not just killing something. Since success, just spending time with new friends or family out in the woods, and then killing something is a cherry on top. I've been pretty fortunate to have many successful seasons, and so now I lean more towards not just killing stuff, but helping other people kill stuff. Try to help other people have success like I have for the last 20 years of hunting.
Hey man, love the hat. Yeah, two thumbs way up there. What is something that you can't and you really won't go on a hunt without?
Probably my 15 power binoculars. I spend a ton of time behind them on a tripod out in the field, uh, whether it's scouting or actually hunting. They're just lightweight. I can throw a tripod and binos over my shoulder and hike anywhere. Check check good spots. You can see up close with them. You can see a long ways away, and you can cover a lot of ground with them. Checking behind every tree. That's how we find a lot of blacktails. With high powered binoculars like that.
So we always hear everyone's hunting success stories. That's all we ever like to share, right? But how do you deal with failure on a hunt? How do you deal with that?
Failure, it happens all the time to most people. It's just how you rebound from failure, whether it's, figuring out how you failed a stock or how you misjudged the yardage on a shot, or didn't couldn't find any animals. Failure is just one of them things that is going to happen every single season, but learning from that and figuring out what you did wrong to do better next time.
So that's a lot of days out in the field. How did you feel physically this year?
Physically, I felt pretty good. I live 30 minutes from one of my good deer spots, so I'll come home after work, and if the wife and the kids aren't doing anything, we just jump in the forerunner. We run up there and we'll go check trail cameras, or we'll just sit on a high knob and glass for blacktail or elk or whatever. And so a lot of days I didn't check the train box on the app as much as I probably should have, but train to me is just spending time in the gym, doing an actual workout to where I'm putting boots on the ground, getting a lot of like train time on the ground, on the mountain, behind glass, stuff like that. So,
How many of those days? I mean, you log a lot of days. How many of those are with your kiddos and your wife?
probably half of them, because some days, when I come home from work, they're taking a nap or whatever, and I don't want to wake them up. But my wife, she's
Yep.
just watching a movie or whatever, and I'll say, "Hey, do you mind if I run up on the hill?" And she'll say, "No, I don't care." And so I owe a lot of my success to my wife and my kids, because not everybody can do it. I'm pretty fortunate that my wife is self-sufficient and can hang out with the kids if I want to run up on the hill or run across the country and go hunt somewhere else. So I owe a lot of my success to her.
And as someone who's a fairly new hunter and someone who kind of got themselves into this, I found that my time in the woods, while I've learned a ton, the someone's advice who's far more experienced and who has time in the woods is worth its weight in gold. Tell me about a time this year that you've helped a newer or novice hunter become more successful.
So my cousin this year, she reached out to me and she said, "Hey, I've never shot a gun. I've never even hardly seen many deer, many elk." And she said, I really want to kill a big game animal this year." And I said, "Okay, we can do that." So she came down. I took her up. She had never shot a bolt action rifle before. And the first shot, I set a gong out there at like 200 yards with my gun, and she rang it. First shot. Second shot was a rock at 600 yards. She hit that. And so the third shot with the rifle, I told her, I said, "Okay, you see that big rock out there at 900?" And she zeroed in on it and shot it at 900 yards. And then the rest of the day, we just worked on shooting, different positions, stuff that could come up out on the hunt while we're hunting. And opening day of blacktail season, I had been watching a nice 4-point buck most of bow season through the month of September. And then October came, knew the buck was there. So I took her up there. We just sat on the landing for a while, and a couple hours after daylight, I was able to turn the buck up, and she harvested her first blacktail big game animal at 408 yards, one shot.
What's been your biggest takeaway from the Hunt League?
Just a lot of new people on there that are just, looking for good advice out there, that may have got bad advice on the internet, because there's not always good advice on the internet. But on the HuntLeague app, there's a lot of people that are just striving to be good outdoorsmen and want to actually help people, or looking for just knowledge of people that aren't just blowing smoke. So the HuntLeague app is great for that. Everybody's, nobody's downgrading anybody for not knowing this or not knowing that. If somebody asks a question, whether it's gun related or hunting related, I always try to be real helpful of helping people that are just getting into it or may not have any experience doing it, because I've been very fortunate to being brought up in the outdoor world and having great success.
So with all the game meat that you're harvesting, what's your favorite thing to eat, and what's your favorite way to cook it?
Probably elk backstrap or tenderloin, floured up with some mashed potatoes and green beans, something like that. My wife makes really good chili, really good stew. So at least 4 nights a week we eat wild game, bear, elk, deer, antelope, whatever we harvest. So we don't usually have to buy a lot of beef or anything, but once in a while we change it up, chicken or beef or something. But 4 to 5 days a week we're eating wild game at home.
Brandon, did you have a time this year where you felt like you wanted to quit, but you kept going and ended up leading you to some success?
I'm not one to quit. Like, I will brutally punish myself. Like, if I can't find a deer, I just keep grinding. Maybe while I was packing my dad's elk out this year, we were like 3.5 miles behind a gate. I had a hind quarter, one back strap, and a front shoulder, and the head all on. I'm gonna guess it was like 130 pounds on my back or more. And we were three miles from the truck, and the last half a mile was like 1,100 vertical feet gain and 500 yards. So it was real stormy. It was dark, foggy, but never give up is my attitude when it comes to hunting, because you never know what's around the corner.
Brandon, when you're talking to a non-hunter and they pose the question, why do you hunt? What's your response?
To feed my family. I know exactly what kind of meat I'm getting, how it was ethically killed. I know exactly what what was done with the meat when it was processed, and it's just organic meat is way better than any kind of meat you buy from the store. And we got to feed our families. So, and it's better than any meat that's at the store. So, and we are conservationists also. We're not just hunters killing stuff. I spend a lot of time with the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. So we talk to non-hunter people all the time. It's not just about killing. It's not just about killing animals. Or, maybe we see a wounded deer or an elk, and it's like, I don't want that elk to suffer anymore. Or so we, rather than killing a big bull that year, we kill a small bull because we found one suffering or something like that.
Got a lot of seasons under your belt, a lot of hunting seasons. What differentiates this year from previous years?
This year I just set out to help other people rather than kill, just focus on myself and just be selfish. I helped a lot of other people. My wife's stepdad was supposed to draw a great elk tag in Oregon this year. Well, he didn't draw, so I was going to spend a ton of time over there helping him try to kill a once-in-a-lifetime bull. That didn't happen. So then anybody that wanted help, I tried to help them. Helped a couple other HuntLeague members on here kill their first blacktail. And then, they traveled down here from Northern Oregon, and I helped them harvest a couple blacktail also. So just helping other people find the success that I've found in the past 20 years of hunting.
What do you think is the coolest thing you saw in the woods all year?
This year was the first year I actually got to sit and watch a cougar. I had a buddy. I just came off the mountain looking at some blacktail bucks that were on another hill where I hunt, and another HuntLeague member was like, "Hey, I got this cougar. This guy's shooting at it. Come up here, bring your big gun, and kill this cat." And I was like, "Okay." So I get up there and got to the spot. Within 5 minutes, I was glassing the unit that he said it was in. I found this cougar, and I was all, no way. Like, usually when you hear, somebody gives you a tip like that, it never works out, or somebody else beat you to it. So I got my gun set up, and the wind was blowing pretty good, but I tried to get closer, couldn't get closer. It was too steep. Couldn't really get a good vantage point on it. So I went back to that spot, and I was just I got my gun set up again, and I was just kind of watching this cat just do what cats do, because I had never really got to witness that, for a long period of time like that. And then the fella that had been shooting at it pulled back up and he said, "Hey, are you going to shoot?" And he goes, "I'll tell you what, I'll shoot one more time at it. And if I don't hit it, it's all yours." So I got my gun all set up, 888 yards. He shot. The cat never even flinched or anything. He was like 4 feet high and 4 feet left. And the wind was still kind of breezy, like 8 miles an hour crosswind at 888 yards. So I held a little bit of wind and I hit it back in the abdominal area. So I hit the cat. Everything, went up there, searched for it. Could not find it. Could not. I mean, looked for 2 days for it, just hoping to find the cougar, because I'm as many days as I spend in the outdoors, I don't see that many cats, and I was never able to fully recover it. So that kind of stunk. But that was a pretty cool experience this year that I don't see every year. So
Well, Brandon, that is officially the time that we have. You had an incredible season, man. Can't thank you enough for everything that you put in this year into the Hunt League community. I mean, in checking the invest box 137 times, train box, 184 days you checked the shoot box. I mean, that's a lot of shooting. And I know you said a couple of those days were bow, but primarily most of that is there with your rifle. So I mean that's a lot of work. I know you've been a big inspiration to a lot of people inside the HuntLeague community. I'm excited for you to have this first opportunity as a finalist here at the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year. Any final words before we jump to Rich?
another big thing to me is just conservation. I'm big into RMEF. I've spent 22 years in the RMEF. My banquet alone here, we raised $98,000 last year here in Roseburg, Oregon. We're a top 25 chapter in the nation. In Oregon alone, we raised $1.3 million for conservation work. And conservation is really big to me because I take some stuff away from there. So I try to give back also. Conservation's a big part of my life. Traveled well over 3,000 miles last year going to different RMEF banquets and helping and raising money and doing habitat projects. So
quite a bit of work on top of your 89 days and all the other stuff. So appreciate you being a part of this community. We'll jump over to Rich.
sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, my friends, this is Rich Mays. Rich, what does this opportunity to be a finalist for the Outdoorsman of the Year, what does this mean to you?
Well, I'm super competitive, so I always like to be in some sort of competition. I think it's really cool just to have the opportunity. I just love hunting, and so this is just kind of a cherry on top of a great season.
You've been here before. You understand the drill. I'm going to throw you to our judges panel right here. You've got 12 minutes on the clock, my friend. Best of luck as you face the panel for the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year.
Thanks, Jared.
Oh, thanks so much, Rich. First question for you. How do you define success on a hunt?
Just the ability to get out there and go hunting is always a success for me. It's always a trek for me to even go hunting. Anytime I want to go local hunting, I have to drive at least like an hour and a half to get there. So success is just being out in the woods, whether I fill a tag, which is very rarely, or not. I consider my year very successful. I've been very fortunate to be able to go turkey hunting, dove hunting, do the elk tag this year, which was awesome, and always get to go out deer hunting. So there's lots of opportunity here. It's just you definitely have to work at it.
Rich, what is a piece of equipment that you think is most important when you to have on you in the woods?
Uh, Besides a weapon, one of the things I definitely carry on me is my Garmin InReach, because when I'm out hunting, I'm usually out of cell phone coverage. So if anything were to happen, um, my Garmin InReach is the only way for me to get a hold of someone. There's probably two people out there that know exactly where I'm at. So, yeah, that's a pretty important piece of equipment on top of any kind of first aid kit. Water is super crucial. Um, Being in a arid climate out here, there's not a lot of water. So if anything were to happen, water, communication, and then obviously a weapon, so.
All right, Papa Rich. How do you deal with failure on a hunt?
It is pretty difficult to fill deer tags out here in San Diego County. I just take each day when I go out every time. I'm always optimistic. I'm always, anticipating on filling that tag, but a lot of days it ends with maybe not even seeing an animal. So you got to be pretty resilient if you're going to be hunting out here in San Diego. It's not really a target rich environment. So, I think I take it pretty well because I keep on going back.
So, with that many days, you logged a lot of days this year. How did you feel physically? Anything stand out to you?
I had not been going to the gym prior to drawing my elk tag because my everyday work is very physical. So I do get a lot of not cardio exercise, but it is very physically intensive at work. When I drew my elk tag, I knew I would have to be in much better shape as far as cardio and all that stuff. So I try to take really good care of myself as far as nutrition and all that already, just because my job is very demanding. And if I'm not in top physical shape, I won't be able to do my job. In order for me to do extra workouts, I'm waking up super early, going to the gym before work, and trying to get in extra workouts. So I am able to be out there longer.
Awesome. I landscaped for a long time, and it allowed me to perfect not bonking because you have to be so physically prepared. I was like, and you have to fuel, and you're not getting a snack break. Like, there's no snack breaks.
No, no. I actually normally don't take lunch. I just keep on working. Just
That's
work
amazing.
from the time I get there till the time, till it's time to leave, because it's like time is money. And if I stop to take a break, it just drags the day on longer. So I'd rather just grind it out and then eat when I'm all done.
Rich, I imagine that most of your neighbors probably aren't dedicated and avid hunters. If one of them wanted to get into hunting, what would you do to help them get prepared, and how would you help mentor them to get out in the woods?
Have them take their hunter safety course and, obviously try to get prepared as they could physically. If someone around here wanted to hunt, I'd probably start them off with something that's more instantly rewarding, like dove hunting. You get a lot of action. It's not deer hunting out here where you might not even see an animal multiple days, or have to get out there and hike at 3 in the morning a few miles in and all that. I wouldn't want to burn them out. I'd want to start them out with something relatively um, with a lot more action. So like dove hunting, where I go, it's nonstop action. We get a lot of birds down in the valley, which is about 2.5 hours from here. But it's a lot of fun, and I think that would be a way to get someone started into hunting. If there's no action, or they don't even see any animals, it probably won't stick with them very well.
Rich, what has been your most valuable takeaway from this Hunt League app experience?
I really like that it's all hunters and everyone that kind of has the same mindset. There's not there's not a lot of bashing or what have you going on. It's very, I mean, the community seems to hold each other up, which is really, really cool, as opposed to other platforms out there where, you know, you could have anyone out there looking at your stuff, and you know, they might not be in line with the same views that you have. I also like the competition part. Even though I've never met a lot of these guys, we see each other on the app every single day, and we're competing against each other to some extent. It's kind of cool that way.
With all the game that you harvest, what's your favorite thing to eat, and what's your favorite way to prepare it?
Gosh, I would say one of my favorite meals has got to be wild turkey parmesan. So I'll take the breast, and I'll take one breast, I'll cut it into 4 pieces, pound it out, and then bread it up with parmesan. And I usually make my own breading, so throw all kinds of like Italian spices in there, oregano, thyme, what have you, and then mix that with some fresh Parmesan, and bread that up. And then I'll flash fry that and throw it in a pan with some sauce and some more Parmesan on top, and bake that for about a half an hour. And that's probably one of my favorite meals, even probably more than backstrap. I love all the prep that goes into it, and yeah, it turns out phenomenal.
Rich, did you have a time this year where you felt like you wanted to quit, but you kept pushing through and it ended in success?
Absolutely. For example, the deer that I harvested here in San Diego, I had shot him at 9 in the morning, and what I thought was a perfect shot. When I released the arrow, it felt good. It sounded good. It hit the deer, and what I saw was he turned, and there was blood coming out, like right where his lungs would be. So I thought that I had double lunged him. Well, as it turned out, he had turned just a little bit at the very last moment, and the arrow entered through his rear hindquarter and exited out where his lungs were. So it clipped liver and lung. I thought he'd be piled up, right where he entered the chaparral. So when I shot him, he whirled around, ran into the chaparral. I gave him like an hour, went over there, found my arrow. It was covered in blood. So I was pretty convinced that he was just going to be piled up. Well, that turned into hours of me searching on my own. I lost blood probably relatively quickly. So from where I shot him, I was only able to track maybe 80 yards, and then there was no more blood, and it was all chaparral. Wasn't able to locate him. I called one of the only guys who knows where I'm, I'm at. He came out and helped me look. We searched till dark, and at that point I was just gonna notch my tag, because I knew that I had killed him, and I was just deflated. So we hiked out, came home, told my wife the whole story, and you know, basically went to bed that night. Woke up the next morning, and she saw how bummed I was. So she said that she would come out and help me look. So we drove, and this is from my house like an hour and a half away, and then about a 2 mile hike in. So this happened on Saturday. So Sunday morning, my wife and I went out. We searched till dark, could not find him. And at that point, it was, Sunday afternoon, had to work on Monday. And yeah, I was basically ready to give up. My last hope was that I had contacted one of my friends who had blood tracking dogs, and he had called me while I was out there. I got home, I got his message. This was about 7 o'clock in the evening on Sunday, and he was willing to go out there. And so I had not notched my tag. So we went out there and we searched and searched and searched. And long story short, ended up finding him about 2:30 in the morning after a, I mean, we were breaking through brush and just tried to give maximum effort trying to find this deer. And luckily, I didn't give up, and we found him. And kind of the same thing happened on my elk hunt. I had shot my elk at 20 yards. I thought it was a great shot. He had blood pouring out of him when he ran off, and we lost blood and could not find him. We opted to wait till the next morning to go look, and we searched all that next morning, and finally, after miles of grid searching, found him about 1:30 in the afternoon. Giving up is really hard for me, especially when I know that I have probably killed the animal. Yeah, I try to put maximum effort into everything I do.
Ultimately, this isn't like a participation trophy. One person gets to wear the crown and will be named the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year.
So one thing he said that really stuck out to me, I mean, he said he had a lot of learning seasons leading up to when he started getting success in 2019, and then he just expanded on those lessons. And I mean, obviously had a knockout year, but I mean, he started in 15, didn't have success till 19. I mean, that's 4 seasons and a ton of money and time on the mountain before he started, seeing and at least harvesting. So, yeah, that's what stuck with me from him.
Having their daughter and like the newness of that, being able to balance it, hunting with that and looking forward to what the future holds, that stands out for me.
A lot of things. Obviously, a Seekins T-shirt helped, but no, that has nothing to do with what I found impressive about him. I just personally, as a hunter and a man of faith, I find myself in the woods in constant communication with my God, and that is something I resonate with, and I think a lot of hunters in general do, and I really feel like throughout his entire interview, he kind of kept pinging back to his faith, but even if you're not a person of faith, right, just gratitude of being in the woods, gratitude of having success, gratitude of the opportunity to hunt, gratitude of the lessons that this lifestyle has taught him, like Porter mentioned, through his seasons of failure as well as his season of great success. I really, really like that aspect of it, because that I found that as a hunter myself and a man of faith and a family man, those are the things that I do when I hunt as well. So
He gets home, gets the family involved, which is awesome. But then even outside of being on the mountain, how much time he spends with conservation, traveling all the Rocky Mountain elk events, being a part of that community. I mean, that's huge. I mean, what was it? How many crazy days did he have doing that? So, that's a lot of time. Like some people love the banquets and things like that, but a lot of times that's you know, it's easy to have fun on the mountain, but I think that part of it's a little bit tougher where you're not really getting that immediate ROI out of it. So that impressed me a lot.
Just incorporating others and the importance, of others over oneself. And so I'm like, that's a big deal. We want to get a lot more hunters to that point so that ego is taken out of it and they're looking to get others into it as opposed to solely notching their tags. So that stands big time.
yeah, same thing. I liked his involvement with other hunters and helping those guys be successful, or gals. We didn't hear all the details or stories of who he helped, but um, the mentality and the mindset of like, hey, I've been blessed. I've been a lot of time. I spent a lot of time in the woods. I'm pretty successful when I get out there and do it. I want other people to have that success. I like that aspect and mindset that he had there.
And he shared 2 stories at the end there to us about just times he didn't quit. And for a lot of guys, I know with Brandon, he said it's about 30 minutes for him to get on the mountain. Anywhere this guy wants to go is an hour and a half, 2 hour jaunt for him. So multiple days on the mountain, looking for that deer for 3 days. That's a lot of miles on the old car or truck or But he made a shot, and he felt committed to finding and harvesting that animal, and went back for 2-3 days. So
Yeah, I definitely echo that. Like going back multiple times to find that deer, I was like, a lot of guys won't talk about what they've left. And like he's got all the odds stacked against him. Like he's got every reason not to go back. And I'm like, I love that. I also appreciate that he's found community in HuntLeague, because even geographically, San Diego, I don't think he's probably got other hunters that are his neighbors. We live where we live, and we got a lot of folks that we find community with through hunting, and he's got it's not the easiest community, but he's finding a way to do it. And I think utilizing HuntLeague and being very active in there and encouraging others is a big thing for him. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, dedication to a single animal. I mean, in the shooting world, when we're training people, particularly like if we're doing like law enforcement or military training, like you have to talk about the fact that when you pull that trigger, you buy every freaking inch that bullet travels, right? Like you have to be committed to that shot if you're going to break it. And his commitment to that deer that he stuck, he hit it, and he spent 3 days, called his buddy with dogs, packed his wife up there, and never gave up, and ended up finding him. I mean, I know way too many guys that are, 3-4 hours in, I lost blood. I must not have hit him that good. He's probably going to be all right. That he lost blood after 80 yards. That's not very typically a good indication that you hit the deer very good. So the fact that he spent 3 days still in pursuit of that animal because he felt committed to the shot he took, and I just thought that was that's absolutely fantastic. Like tier 1 class, respect for the animal, respect for the sport. I just thought that was really neat.
All right, these judges have a tough decision on their hands. Do you go with Josh, the volunteer firefighter who got his once-in-a-lifetime Idaho moose? Or do you go with Brandon, who logged the most activities, helped several hunters find success, and by far drive the most conservation miles volunteering for the RMEF? Or are you going with Daddy Rich, leader of the daily challenges and winner of the Arizona Archery Elk Lottery? Now, one thing I failed to mention is how did we end up with these 3 hunters as our finalists this year? Well, outside of them using the HuntLeague app and sharing their journey throughout the year, they each filled out an application at the end of 2024. Then we asked the previous Outdoorsman of the Year winners to review the applications and weigh in on who they felt like deserved a top spot to advance to the finals. So who better to pick the finalists than the hunters that have a deep understanding and appreciation for the work, the passion, determination, skills, ethics, and willingness to mentor and pave the way for others to follow. Each of these finalists represents what it means to be a true outdoorsman, committed to the hunt and the conservation work required to make sure that future generations get to partake in the pursuit and adventure that we are so blessed to be able to do. Now, as is the tradition, with this prestigious award, we have invited last year's champion to pass the torch and crown the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year.
Hey guys, for those that don't know me, my name is Wally King. I was the 2023 winner of the Outdoorsman of the Year award with HuntLeague, and let me just say, what an honor, what a prize package. I've been enjoying the heck out of all the stuff I won from Seekins, Vortex, Huxworks, Bear Archery, to name a few. And this year's winner is going to get a really wonderful package as well. I'm here to announce the winner of the 2024 Outdoorsman of the Year. And I'll just say, I looked at all these outdoorsmen throughout the year, all their applications and the interviews, and I can just say, like, it was a tough call. Each one of these guys is well deserving of the title. Our winner has gone through a level of adversity some of us can really relate to. If you've ever found success in a sub 5% unit, you understand what it takes to be successful on that type of hunt. And this guy just, not only did he win the opportunity through a really rough draw to get a great opportunity on elk. He also went into one of the toughest units you can think of with like a 3% odds rate, and managed to be successful on both of those hunts. This man not only shoots like the best of anyone I know, but had 2 shots that required probably the most difficult recoveries I've ever seen. And so just my hat goes off to Rich Mays. Dude, you did it. Congratulations. That perseverance that you have overcoming adversity of those animals you had to track and just sticking to it no matter what. Dude, you rocked it. Congratulations. You are the new Outdoorsman of the Year. We look forward to seeing more of your cooking, more of your success on the hunts, and being involved with these conservation groups you're in. You really are an exemplary example of what it takes to be the HuntLeague Outdoorsman of the Year. Congratulations, dude. I look forward to hunting with you in September.
On behalf of Huxworks, I'd like to congratulate Rich Mays in an awesome season. You're going to be getting a very cool blasphemy. Sorry you can't have the suppressor, but no, super proud of your year, and the what you have to go through to just get a hunt done is amazing, and keep it up, man.
Yeah, Rich, congratulations on behalf of Mountain Tough. You're getting a lifetime of the app. I know you got that physical work and keep on that path for sure, but we got mobility and yoga and all that stuff in there too. And I know there's some fellow Mountain Toughers geographically located by you too. So just want to congratulate you. Thank you for sharing that story. You tracking down that deer. That's above and beyond. And that's everything a hunter can aspire to, and look forward to maybe one day having turkey parm with you.
Yeah, Rich, congrats on behalf of Seekins Precision and myself. Couldn't have been more impressed with you as an individual, even just through a few minutes on the screen. Your passion for the sport of hunting and for your dedication to wildlife and respect for the animals that we hunt, your use of those animals that you harvest. I mean, no one's more deserving this year to be Outdoorsman of the Year for 2024. So, congratulations to you. Keep putting in hard work every year, and just grateful to be a part of this and to watch you win that Seekins rifle. That's awesome.
Congratulations, my friend, Rich Mays. You did it. Your hard work and perseverance paid off. You have earned what I truly believe to be the highest honor that can be awarded within the hunting universe. Now, I am so sorry that you live in a communist state, which is going to limit your prize package from Huxworks. But thanks for breaking the ice and becoming the first hunter from the state of California to win the Outdoorsman of the Year. Congratulations. My charge to you is to wear the crown with pride, but to recognize the responsibility that comes with it and pave the way for others to follow. Best of luck at your upcoming NWTF event, and we are anxious to see if you can finally get that elusive 300 indoor archery score this year. Now, Josh said if you can't hit that perfect 300 score by July, that you're going to default on the crown and it is going to be passed to him. And Brandon, he's ready to challenge you for the title in a head-to-head match. He said he will shoot his rifle from 500 yards, and you can shoot your bow at 20 yards at the same target, and may the best score win. All right, I do have to point out one more thing, as you helped carry on a tradition that has now lasted 5 years. So far, not one hunter ranked first on the leaderboard at the end of the year has walked away with this title. It was Brandon this year, and the number 2 guy took him. We have now had 2 second place finishes, 1 third place finish, as well as a 13th and a 14th ranked finisher win the Outdoorsman of the Year title. We say all you have to do is finish in the top 10% of the leaderboard, and here we are once again where the number 1 guy got beat out by someone else. Is there a curse with first? Brandon, he might say there is after the year he had, but I am anxious to see who is going to lead the pack in 2025, and will they have what it takes to break that tradition and take home the title. It's up for grabs. The work starts now. Be sure to download the HuntLeague mobile app and start logging your daily challenges, your scouting trips, your hunts, and share your stories with people inside the HuntLeague community. Not just the highlights either. We want to see the ups and downs. We want to be there for you when you're hanging your head in defeat, and be there to celebrate with you when you're standing on top of the highest peak. I know the app is far from perfect. It can run slow, it can crash, and it can honestly just suck at times. It drives me crazy. But I am so proud of this community and the hunters that show up and inspire me and others every day. If you call yourself a HuntLeague member, thank you for being a part of the family, for sticking with this community and believing in something that I believe is going to be an incredibly powerful tool for capturing the story and shared experiences of hunters around the world. Stay tuned as we have some exciting partnership announcements as well as some possible community events coming up this year. If you're looking for an opportunity to meet up with some of the core members of the HuntLeague community, we're making plans for a special hunt as well as a potential preseason shooting match that is going to be an absolute blast. More details to come, but thank you for watching and celebrating our finalists. Please take a moment to congratulate Rich and thank our various partners in the comments below. Let's continue to build something special with the HuntLeague community.